Morning, everybody. So I'm doing a little update on the breakdown on my Kioti tractor back here. A couple of months ago, we had clutch issues. We tore it apart, and we found that there's a leaking seal from the PTO shaft, which is leaking oil onto the clutch. It's making it stick. So we tore it apart. I ordered parts from Kioti. I've got all of them except for the pressure plate. I guess it's called a clutch cover. So we're waiting for that hopefully this week. So in the meantime, my uncle installed the seal, the leaking seal onto the shaft. I'll show you what that's made up of. And he's put another seal on the cover. And also, yeah, like I said, we're waiting for some more clutch parts so we can put it back together. It's been down for, I guess, a month and a half, almost 2 months now. It's really tough to get parts for anything. So there's the clutch on the floor. That's the old clutch. And here's the shaft. I know it's probably hard to see, but there's a seal in there into that shaft that goes up against a bushing, and that was installed, so that's ready to go back into the transmission. That goes into the front part of the transmission over here, right into here. We had to build a special puller. This is custom made. This fits over the shaft like so. So what we did was we installed this puller onto the shaft and the gear, which was into the transmission. We installed that puller, and that goes up against the transmission housing, and you just tighten the nuts here and tighten the collar. My uncle found an old gear which was the exact diameter of the shaft here, so you tighten this up, tighten these up, and that pulled that shaft out of the transmission over there, and it plucked it out. So he was able to install the seal that's given us an issue. So the power takeoff shaft, if you've watched the other video, I kind of explained briefly what was going on. That power takeoff shaft goes through this shaft, and there's a seal inside there that's letting the oil come through and leak onto the clutch. So we did that, so we got the seal in here, and he's installing a seal onto a cover that goes in here. So once we get the pressure plate, we got a bunch of parts here. While I'm replacing everything, I'm going to put a new clutch into the tractor, new bearings, I received those, and we'll put the shaft in, and we'll put the tractor back together. I also had to remove a shift fork. It's kind of interesting. Had to remove this shift fork from inside the transmission. It's the shuttle shift from reverse to forward, and there's this fork travels onto this shaft, which has a little ball, and so you got 3 grooves onto this shaft, and so when you shift forward or neutral or reverse, the little ball and spring that's inside this fork actuates, or I guess has 3 positions. Anyway, when we reinstall this fork, again, my uncle, who's the super duper engineer of the operation, he built this little tool. So this is going to go inside here. So you install this ball and spring into the shift fork. This little bushing here is going to hold it in. Once this is installed in the transmission, here's the spring, just to show you. That's the little spring that goes in here, and the little ball. So when you reinstall this, like, it's hard to keep that ball and spring in there. Really, it would be impossible. So you have to put that little bushing in, and the shaft is going to go in here, and once that shaft gets pushed through, then it's going to pull the little bushing that we've manufactured, and we put it on a chain here. I'll put it on a rope, and that'll push that through and fall into the transmission, but I can catch it and fish it out. And then the shaft will go through the hole in the fork, and there you go, it's installed. I tell you, thank God for my uncle and my dad, and you know, they've got years of experience doing stuff like this. It's great to learn how they do stuff. I'd never get this apart myself. So we're getting at it. Hopefully we can get that last piece for the clutch, and we can get this reinstalled and back on the road. We have an older tractor I'm running now, an old International with the log loader and stuff. So I can sort of make do with getting logs on the sawmill and getting stuff sawn. I've got lumber orders and a little bit of logging to do. Thank goodness I have that old tractor to use. But once she's back in operation, we'll be good. Here's the inside of the transmission. That's where that shaft goes into. And as you can see, there's a lot of gears and synchronizers and stuff in there. So that shaft goes back in, and the shift forks shift it from forward to reverse. We'll need to use that puller to push the shaft back in. And that little hole up in the top right hand corner, that's where that little shaft goes in through the shift fork. So the shift fork is inside the transmission, and that shaft goes in from the front of the transmission. If we come around here inside the cab and on the floor, that's where that shift fork goes to shift the synchronizer front to back. And you can access the top of the transmission there by removing the panel. Got a lot of stuff to take apart. There's my manual. That's what the diagram looks like. That's what we're repairing. Something else I've been working on too in the shop here. Not only working on the tractor, but we've got my little ATV here. It's an older, I think it's a 1987 Honda Trx 250. It's a Honda four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive actually, and the kids use it or use it around the property. I'm putting a set of brakes on it and wheel bearings, so got that apart. We're just waiting for brake shoes. We're gonna stick a pair of brake shoes on it. I put new wheel bearings, so the kids are getting kind of antsy using it. But once I get done fixing that, I gotta wait for that to be fixed because I can't pull the four-wheeler out before the tractor goes out. So I guess the tractor's gotta come first. Right, your birthday. Yeah. Ja, det var det rendu chaud.
Ja, maar ik weet maar een gitaar hè voor het.
So thanks for watching, and I want to say a special hi to my #1 fans out there in Detroit, Michigan, Henry and Joey. Hi Henry and Joey. When you guys come down and visit, Russell's going to take you for a ride in the tractor. Should be repaired by then. So hey little fellas, sending lots of love from Belleville Cove. Take care, see you later.